Hello folks. This is recording as far as I know, yes, I will carry on. I'm not going to move the camera this time because it's just too much messing about and trying to get it to refocus and stuff like that. There's no need to, there's no point. So I won't. Hopefully audio's recording works. I've got the headset on because camera mic isn't always great. Anyway, yes, get on with it. I wanted to do this as a response to sort of further from the conversation with the crossman and to try and go over some of the stuff he's mentioned and sort of in that conversation. I'm going to say first, man, you're working via a joypad. That's got to be very, very frustrating. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense as well as why your comments tend to be in that kind of staccato fashion, because I know what you mean, trying to enter text by joypad. Yeah, awkward. But I will go over some of the stuff. Like I said, I'm not going to bother pointing the camera at the screen. And I ain't going to read out everything, but I'll read out most of the stuff that you put so that I can address it. Because I think there's a lot of stuff you're mentioning that add into other things that I think are worth mentioning. The original comment that I think started this whole lot off was you was basically, I could look back at the comment, but I don't feel a need to. You were basically asking me, what do I think of the possibility that Chunky is some kind of agent, or he's tricking people in some fashion for some agenda or something like that. And I sort of replied as well, I've got nothing that sort of indicates me towards that, so it's not really a consideration for me, and I don't want to speculate about it. Right, the reason I don't want to speculate about it, and the reason why I feel it mentioning, because it adds into some of the stuff that you put in your comments. I trust Mark, I don't trust who's around him. Okay, so you distrust people. When it comes to doing this kind of thing, this kind of information, you're going to meet a lot of people that you don't trust. You're going to meet a lot of people that at first you do trust, and you find out later on that they were bullshitting you or whatever. And unfortunately, that's part of the territory. And for me, the way I come at a lot of this stuff, that is also part of the problem. And the system, them, they, all the classic cliches, that could be a song, they deliberately try and interfere with our conversations using agents, sock puppets, whatever, yeah. So they try and interfere with that, and they try and sow the seeds of distrust, and they try and get people to work against each other, and they try to trick people into working against it, all that kind of stuff, yeah. So, when you're asking me, but I mean, you mentioned a couple of names that you don't bother listening to and stuff like that. Fair enough, mate. You know, we're each looking from our own point of view, our own perspective. So, you know, it's up to you what you choose to look at. You didn't offend me, mate, not at all. You know, this was all, to me, part of the problem of trying to do this thing via text. The comment box is on YouTube, but short, you don't get a lot of space. A textual comment can be misinterpreted in either direction. You know, so in that respect, that's why I like the concept of doing it this way. You can see me, you can hear me, you can see the expression on my face, etc. When I did the last response, I was trying to keep it somewhat light-hearted. I know it came out as condescending because I ain't that great at doing comedy, so you know, it is what it was anyway. I was trying not to be aggressive and condescending, but I should wind this into what I was actually originally going to point out. You know, I've got nothing to indicate to me that Mark is trying some kind of agenda or con trick or whatever. The people around him, to me, that's the same situation of each one of us individually. Are you going to account for everybody who's around everybody? And that then leads you into a crazy spiral of paranoia where you just won't trust anyone. And that's not helpful for yourself, let alone this whole situation of what's going on. Yeah. for me, I think some of the stuff you mentioned, like the black bag on the head and then the don't be afraid, you're taking it out of context. If for people, if they want to, if you can be bothered to listen back to the stuff I've put up, as far as I'm concerned, it's not contradictory, not at all, and especially not when, if you, it might not have relayed that well in the YouTube uploads, but when I was actually doing them as live broadcasts, when I use music and audio and whatever as part of the whole thing, and my principal idea, the concept I was working with, was the first half of the show is quite aggressive. I try to pick out those things that I know will make people angry or annoyed or fed up or frustrated or want to scream in frustration like Chunky does. To me, that's the artistic reason of the artist taxi driver, the angry taxi driver shouting at you. And in the same way, in the first half of, when I was doing my show, the first half of the show was meant to be that uprising to inspire the rise of energy. And then hopefully my intention was to allow the flow of that to transmute, and to transmute that energy, redirect it, channel it, not in a forceful way from myself, but to make people realise how they can access that for themselves and learn to channel it for themselves. I constantly, throughout all my shows, I think a lot of stuff I do, I tell you, this is about you doing it for yourself from your own perspective. Don't copy me, don't expect me to be some person on a pedestal that you have to copy and do exactly as I do and say and so. Not at all. No, completely the opposite. You know, anyway, it's a side topic, but the things about it being contradictory, so I disagree with that. And then when you also include in your comments implying or directly accusing me of being a shill or something like that. If you think I'm a mug, if you think I'm wrong, whatever you think I'm wrong, that's fine, mate, carry on. That doesn't bother me at all. It's all part of the conversation. But if you accuse me of being a shill or getting paid in some kind of subversive, agendized kind of, that incites a response. Yeah. And if that was your original intention, just to incite a response, whatever, again, I laugh it off, it's all by the by, but that was something that I felt I had to respond to. The reason I responded with a video was because you say you haven't effed and blinded at me in the comments you left. Yeah, true, fair enough. I didn't accuse you of that kind of ad hominem attack on me. And at the same time, that's just part and parcel of general kind of internet traffic. You'll encounter people that may not be necessarily a troll, but they might occasionally post a comment like that here and there. But the point is, no, you weren't doing that, and I didn't block you. I very, very rarely block people, even if they post a comment completely disagreeing with me, whatever. I very, very rarely block people. I think I've only ever blocked 2 or 3 or 4 people ever. And those are the ones that just literally bombard you, spam you with abuse and hatred and just nastiness to whoever they're directing it at, whether it's me or some particular group or whatever. Only very, very rarely have I ever blocked anyone. So I'm only going to block you just because you disagree with me, no. But because of the way some trolls operate, and as I was going to say, even though you may not have effed and blinded at me, there's many ways to troll somebody, mate. It doesn't require an ad hominem attack to troll people. There are trolls out there, cognitive infiltration trolls. There are those that will attempt to subtly drain your energy and pull you down, constant negative comments and stuff like that. There are various ways to troll people. So, for me, in my position, I felt the best way to approach it was do a video response. Hopefully, you might do a video response back. I know YouTube has taken away the ability now, which is just bloody typical. But the point being, you could see my face. Anybody else could see my face. Anybody else could get involved in the conversation. Because a common tactic of trolls is they want to get you on your own. They want to get you to one side so they can speak in your ear roll and drop their nasty poison in your ear roll, just to you. They don't want anybody else to hear or see, so that then the lie can be kept with you. Otherwise, somebody else might tell them the truth. Somebody else might point out to them, to this guy who's putting poison in your ear. So to me, whenever you get involved in that kind of situation, you make it, maybe not publicly out in front, shouting it off the rooftops, but you at least make it available to other people, so that therefore there's less chance of things being done in the shadows or done in a duplicitous fashion. Yeah? To me, it's just one of the things that when you're working with this kind of stuff, when you start getting dragged into, or people attempt to drag you into that kind of private situation, that usually means they want to tell you something that they think, you know, is not really worth hearing to everybody else, or matches their agenda for some reason. If it's truth, it'll stand up to any question, and it'll be true, shown true to anybody who hears it or sees it, etc. So to me, the truth should not be hidden away behind doors. So again, why I deliberately did a video response, well, I'm doing a video response now. I think you mentioned something about getting a computer set up so you can do video stuff as well. Great, get involved in the conversation, mate. Start putting your own stuff out. Start putting, you know, get your own channel, go in and put up your own stuff from your point of view, from your perspective, from what you feel needs to be said. But in that sense, I've got no problem with you, mate. If you want to disagree with me, fine, fair enough, disagree with me. If you think I'm a mug, whatever. There's loads of other people out there for you to listen to. There's loads of other places to find good stuff, good information, worthwhile, valuable information. But yes, anyway, think about the trust thing, because when it comes down to it, if you're getting involved in this information, I feel, I've argued for a long time, and I'll keep saying it, it's only by connecting with each other and getting involved in a community fashion in some manner that we're going to all be able to work through this stuff. If you isolate yourself and isolate yourself and isolate yourself, whether you go off and escape the matrix by living out on your own in the country, that means it's just you versus the rest of the system, just you on your own. In a classic taking back of the meaning of certain concepts and ideas, that principle of the many make us stronger. When we all mass non-comply, then we'll make a difference to the system. Well, it's just one or two people that have been successfully isolated because they don't trust each other and they can't get on with each other, then they're easily picked off one by one like whack-a-mole by the system. Anyway, I've started rambling. Hopefully you see this response, and hopefully it doesn't make you feel that you need to complain. But yeah, I haven't blocked you, mate. Carry on if you want to post comments or whatever. How much time have I gone up to? 13? Is it 13 minutes? Yes, I will stop there. Thank you. Take care, folks. Yeah, rant at you again soon, no doubt.